8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Indrani Senanayake. The headlines. The government has allocated 1,215 million rupees for the development of the central province this year. The President provided his utmost efforts to develop the country, which was set back economically. Kurunegala Hospital's dialysis unit closed after patients' deaths. Expert committee begins probe. The Ministry of Agriculture says that there are sufficient quantities of water for the cultivation of the Yalla season. Measures will be taken to suspend the sending of women for foreign employment within the next 10 years. In foreign news, Gaza desperately needs more aid, but agencies can't cope. The government has allocated 1,215 million rupees for the development of the Kandy, Matale and Nuwara districts of the central province this year. The government has given priority to develop the rural areas in these provinces. Governor of the central province, Ladith U. Gamage, has requested the local government bodies to give their support in this regard. The income tax generated from the province in the year 2023 has increased by 77%. Governor of the Sabaragama province, Naveen Disanayake, says that the President provided his utmost efforts to develop the country, which was set back economically. He made this remark at a discussion held in Kagala district recently. He stated that the President will provide solutions to many existing problems in the country. The dialysis unit of the teaching hospital in Kurunegala was temporarily closed yesterday after a series of patient deaths attributed to a suspected infection. According to reports, the deaths have taken place since January. A spokesperson for the hospital said an investigation was previously conducted at the institutional level to determine if the fatalities were a result of an infection caused by germs that entered the bloodstream or the chemicals administered during the dialysis procedure. However, the exact cause of the deaths remain unknown. Accordingly, the Minister of Health has appointed a 5-member committee of experts to look into the matter at ministerial level, Health Secretary Dr. Palitha Mahipala said. The panel, led by Dr. Samitha Ginige, the head of the epidemiology unit, has arrived at the hospital for the investigation. The expert committee is tasked with conducting a comprehensive probe into the deaths and submitting a report containing the recommended measures that need to be taken in this regard. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, and we continue with local news. State Minister Dayana Gamage says that the government has the opportunity to increase the excise income due to the fact that more foreign and local tourists mostly visit restaurants and food outlets for entertainment at night. The state income should be increased to maintain the country's development activities for the future. She also stated that all necessary facilities for them should be improved. Many tourists from the United Kingdom, France and Germany have arrived in the island. The Ministry of Agriculture says that there are sufficient quantities of water for cultivation in the Yalla season. The prevailing dry weather condition currently in the island will continue until next month. There will be a possibility of rain with the onset of monsoon winds in April. Plans have been made to cultivate interim crops in the middle of the Yalla season. The ministry has advised farmers to utilize water for their cultivation sparingly. That ends the local segment of news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
Minister Manusha Nanayakara has informed the High Management of the Foreign Employment Bureau and the Licensed Agency Institute of the Bureau to make proposals to suspend foreign employment for women for low salaries completely. But in future, they are expected to suspend the sending of women for foreign jobs within the next 10 years, and that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya. We
now take a look at Watchlight. A 45-year-old dilapidated cable bridge in the Vayalua Taldena model farm has been reconstructed and vested in the public by Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva. The construction work was completed within a short period of 10 days. Facilities are being provided for people of 6 villages. The minister stated that 3 dilapidated cable bridges are to be renovated in the future, and that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
First, we take a look at the headlines. Gaza desperately needs more aid, but agencies can't cope. Trump calls on Alabama to protect IVF treatment after court ruling. UK reaffirms Ukraine's support on war anniversary. The images that have been searing, children scrabbling in the dirt, gathering handfuls of spilled flour, which they stuff into their pockets. 8 trucks surrounded by angry mobs of mostly young men who attack the drivers and make off with whatever they can carry. And young Miriam Abded Rabu, trying but ultimately failing to stay composed as she answered a journalist's questions about the daily struggle to stay alive. A girl who has already been through so much, including the loss of her father, was wailing at her inability simply to find bread. Donald Trump has said he supports the availability of IVF treatment, joining a growing number of Republicans who are seeking to distance themselves from an Alabama court ruling on the issue. The state's top court ruled last week that frozen embryos have the same rights as children and people can be held liable for destroying them. At least 3 clinics paused IVF treatment in the wake of the ruling. On Friday, Mr. Trump called on Alabama to find an immediate solution. We want to make it easier for mothers and fathers to have babies, not harder. That includes supporting the availability of fertility treatments like IVF in every state in America, the former president wrote on his Truth Social platform. Political leaders in the UK have reaffirmed their support for Ukraine on the 2nd anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said Britain was prepared to do whatever it takes and pledged almost £250 million towards producing artillery shells. King Charles praised the strength of Ukrainians who continue to endure tremendous hardship. It comes a day after the UK announced further sanctions against Russia. To end this bulletin of world news, the headlines again. Gaza desperately needs more aid, but agencies can't cope. Trump calls on Alabama to protect IVF treatment after court ruling. UK reaffirms Ukraine's support on war anniversary. That ends this bulletin of world news. We now take a look at development news. The Urban Development Authority has selected several provinces to develop several towns under the 100-town beautification development project. The project will be implemented to develop towns that have low common facilities, and that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
The Afghanistan A team will arrive in the island by April this year. They are scheduled to participate in 5 ODIs and 4 other matches with the Sri Lanka 8 team. They will arrive in the island on the 28th of April, and that was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship eka menna. The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Commercial Bank of Ceylon is giving its debit cards extra appeal this festive season with a gift bonanza worth 6 million rupees for high spenders. An all-inclusive holiday in Singapore for 2, high-end laptops, luxury hotel stays on twin-sharing basis and 20 supermarket vouchers can be won by Commercial Bank debit card users who make purchases to the value of 25,000 rupees or more per month. At this promotion, the bank said. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekakthiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීත හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
We now take a look at economic news. The port city of Colombo hosted a special business networking session with Lord Marland, chairman of the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, CWEIC, recently in the port city of Colombo Sales Gallery. Acting as an excellent platform for PCC to present its upcoming investment prospects, this occasion showcased Lord Marland's strong support for PCC's investment promotion drive through CWEIC to attract potential investors from across the Commonwealth and beyond. State Minister of Investment Promotion, Dilum S. Amanugama, was also present at the event, along with a host of other dignitaries representing state and business interests, and that was economic news.
Weather report.
And finally, we take a look at the weather report. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the western, southern, Sabragamo, central and Uva provinces in the evening or at night. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the northwestern province in the evening or at night. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western, Sabragamo and central provinces and in the Gaul, Matara and Badula districts during the morning hours. And to end tonight's news broadcast, we take a look at the headlines again. The government has allocated 1,215 million rupees for the development of the central province this year. The President has provided his utmost efforts to develop the country, which was set back economically. Kurnagal Hospital's dialysis unit closed after patient deaths. Expert committee begins probe. The Ministry of Agriculture says that there are sufficient quantities of water for cultivation in the Yalla season. Measures will be taken to suspend the sending of women for foreign employment within the next 10 years. In foreign news, Gaza desperately needs more aid, but agencies can't cope. That ends tonight's news broadcast. The time reads 2 minutes to 9 o'clock. This is Radio Sri Lanka.